Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, joined by Sam from Cultaholic.com, and we're here with our predictions for Wrestle Kingdom 12. Wrestle Kingdom 12 is, I'd say, the biggest non-WWE pay-per-view of the calendar year.
Yeah, it's sort of like the WrestleMania away from WrestleMania. Right?
Yeah, it's New Japan's WrestleMania, and it often provides several immediate match of the year candidates. It's every January the 4th, and last year it provided about 4 or 5 best matches of the year straight away. It was a big stepping stone for New Japan. It sort of projected them further onto the global stage. And this year it involves Chris Jericho, which is sure to bring a lot of outside eyes onto the product as well. We are making our predictions. Before we get into the matches, we'll give a brief little introduction to various sort of characters and wrestlers and storylines and all that sort of stuff, just in case you're a newcomer to the product. And also, it wouldn't be a predictions contest without a forfeit, which was decided for by our lovely patrons. Check out our Patreon if you enjoy what we do. And they decided that our punishment's going to be...
it was either going to be karate chops.
Karate chops.
Wasabi.
Lovely wasabi.
Or this.
Yes.
Kendo stick.
3 shots. The loser has to take 3 shots from this kendo stick.
No gift to it at all.
No, right?
Nothing.
Oh my god.
It's not. And it's broken. Oh.
So we've got some predictions for each of the matches on the show, and the loser will be taking 3 kendo stick shots. Yeah, wrestling. Let's get into it. So let's start off with the main event of the night for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the top title in New Japan, one of the most prestigious wrestling championships in the world. KAZUCHIKA Okada, the champion, versus TETSUYA Naito. Okada is the golden boy of New Japan, isn't he? He's like the ace, he's the top dog.
He's sort of like John Cena if it wasn't so polarizing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone pretty much acknowledges him as one of the best wrestlers in the world today, especially after his unbelievable trilogy of matches last year with Kenny Omega. Happy New Year, by the way, to all our...
2018, mate.
Weird. Feel old. Feel a bit old.
Could be a big year, though.
Gonna be big. Well, it could be very big for Okada. Look at that link, because he is in the midst of the longest title reign in New Japan history, the longest heavyweight championship reign in New Japan history. He just over the past sort of 5 years has transformed himself into this. Well, he's the Rainmaker, isn't he? He's cocky but a baby face. Yeah. He comes out in an amazing robe. He opens his arms out, and money falls from the ceiling.
Money with his face all over it.
Money with his face all over it, like bison dollars from the Street Fighter movie.
Yes.
Not to dumb him down at all. He's facing Tetsuya Naito, a guy who is also a fantastic wrestler. It goes without saying, one of the best in the world. Maybe not regarded as on quite the level of Okada, but certainly very, very good indeed. He's had 5-star matches and the like, but he has all the momentum here. He is the most popular, one of the most popular guys in New Japan. He's certainly the most popular right now.
Yeah, he's
I'd say.
really over. The fans absolutely love him for such an anti-authoritarian character.
Yes,
he's doing so well.
Yes, he's a heel, but not really anymore. He's more of like an anti-hero kind of guy. He's the leader of his own stable, Los Ingobernables de Japón, who are like kind of do what they want. Their motto is tranquilo. They're chilled out. They're lazy. Naito will do the sort of stuff like he'll refuse to go for a lockup. He'll spit at his opponent. He'll go for a suicide dive and then just roll and lie on the canvas like that. It's really cool, but can he get it done on the biggest stage of them all, apart from WrestleMania? What do you think? Who have you got and why?
I think it's Naito's time. I'm going with Naito. It's a bit difficult because Okada is obviously the longest reigning IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
And they could just continue that reign. They could just make it keep going and going and going and going until it's just this legendary thing. But I just feel like it's Naito's time. Yeah. I think that he's been through enough from where he started to get to where he is now. I think it's his turn.
He was kind of an unpopular babyface who wasn't really being accepted.
Yeah.
Went away to Mexico, joined Los Ingobernables, started the Japanese branch, and since then it's just been full speed ahead for Naito. Yeah. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Naito as well for the same reasons. And also, I think we could have an immediate match of the year candidate on our hands. Next up, the match that probably most English-speaking fans have been talking about because it features Chris Jericho. That is Jericho versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Championship, quite a new belt that was just created last year. It's kind of a symbol of New Japan's expansion into the US and sort of a global stage. Jericho shocked the world when he appeared and challenged Kenny Omega. He's wrestled in New Japan before in the 90s, I think, before WWE.
Yeah, he basically, he wrestled for New Japan, then he went back and did some stuff with WCW.
Yeah, he was there.
And New Japan, and then obviously he went off to North America to fade into obscurity.
Yeah, we've never heard from him since. That's it. And now he's back somehow.
Yeah, he's back.
He's done nothing. No, Jericho, one of the most famous, biggest global superstar wrestlers in the world, has decided to it's a bit of a murky contract situation with WWE. We don't know if he's going to go back or stay with New Japan or what.
Well, yeah, Trips has said that that they knew about it. There's been a lot of reports saying they didn't know about it. I mean, certainly if New Japan are going to want to expand into the west coast of the US with a name like Jericho, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
He is facing Kenny Omega, the leader of the Bullet Club, who you've probably heard of even if you're not too familiar with New Japan. He's one of the most popular non-WWE wrestlers in the world today, and also one of the best wrestlers in the world today, and one of the most over the top, I think. He's a kind of almost sometimes a cartoonish villain, but there's an air of legitimate danger about him. He's kind of wild and crazy, takes risks, has some amazing high-flying offense sometimes when he wants to. The best knees in the game. He's got really good knees. They look really stiff and sound really painful. He's a heel by nature, but he's very likable as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's very popular.
It's more like the anti-hero type thing. He's very, very much loved by the New Japan audience. I think he's just the best. He's just
awesome.
The best.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's really good. I'm going to go for him in this match. I think he's going to win. There is a no disqualification stipulation, which could open the door for some shenanigans. I think if this was a straight singles match, not many people would be expecting Jericho to win because of Omega's push and how he's been presented as one of the best in the world. But that no DQ thing brings in a little bit of doubt. I am going to stick with Omega though. Who are you going to go for?
Just so we've got something to argue about and shout about during the match.
Okay.
My head says Omega, but my heart says Jericho.
Oh.
So I'm going to go with Chris Jericho.
Okay.
I think, as I was saying, if New Japan are looking to expand into the US market, it's almost a no-brainer if they can afford to keep Jericho, who's apparently a free agent. If they can afford to keep him on the books, I think you're going to attract so many casual fans, so many.
Yeah.
And he'd look great with that belt. He'd look great.
He'd
do so much for it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Jericho.
You might be right, but I'll stick with my prediction of Omega. Next up, the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match, the kind of secondary belt in New Japan between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jay White. Tanahashi is like the Hulk Hogan of New Japan. He's kind of this legendary figure. He's younger, of course. He's still at the sort of at the top of his game, one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he does pick up injuries more these days and that sort of thing. He's kind of slowly on his way out, and he's been replaced by Okada as kind of the golden boy, the top dog of New Japan. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that he remains one of the most popular figures in New Japan, and he's a far more sort of pure babyface character than guys like, you know, Naito, Omega and Okada, who are all shades of grey. He's very much a guy the fans sort of like to get behind.
Yeah, and it also shouldn't take away from the fact that he has the best hair in the game.
Lovely hair.
Yeah.
Really good hair.
The perm was weird, like the perm was strange.
He's got rid of it, hasn't he? He's gone back to his old hair.
To super straightened mental hair.
Great, good.
Yeah.
A very... I feel like Tanahashi, sometimes to a Western audience, can come across as a little bit cheesy. He plays air guitar a lot and stuff.
He's the ace.
But he does what he wants. He's the he's the top dog. He's cool. But he does have an opponent who is the very opposite of him. He's a younger guy, a kind of brash, disrespectful upstart in Jay White, who is a New Zealander who wrestled for New Japan a few years ago, then went on excursion, as a lot of younger New Japan talents do. He went over to Ring of Honor, developed his character, had some great matches, one with Ospreay that you should really check out if you can, and then came back as a more vicious, more focused figure, went straight for Tanahashi, attacked his injured knee and challenged him for the belt at Wrestle Kingdom. And I am going to go for Tanahashi, I think. I think that, as we were saying earlier, if this was WWE, most people would say Jay White's going to win. He's the new guy coming in, big surge of momentum, let's give the new guy the win. But I think the fact that New Japan are a little bit more conservative with their booking sometimes might turn into a longer storyline where Jay White will lose and have to kind of train himself up and get better and more focused and then come back and win later on. But what do you think?
I think you're absolutely dead on the money. I think if they're going to do anything with it, it'd certainly be a huge shock to have Jay White come in and just take it like straight over from Tanahashi. I've just got a feeling it's going to be Tanahashi. They're going to build to a much bigger feud. And it gives Jay White something to work with as well as somebody who's fairly fresh back with the company. It just gives him that little thing if they can build a nice huge feud for him.
Yeah. He's very young. He's only 25 apparently. I mean, I'm 25 and I feel feel older every minute of my life. Candlestick shots. Next up, a four-way match. Four-way matches are pretty rare in New Japan, and this is the first ever four-way match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, kind of their cruiserweight belt, but a very historic and respected belt, almost as sort of respected as the Heavyweight Championship, but with an entirely different division of wrestlers competing for it.
I think it's important to note that the word junior isn't derogatory. It's not a bad thing. Like junior is.
It's not it's not a developmental thing.
Like junior heavyweight is essentially just it's a weight class.
It's smaller guys. Yeah. There's some legendary figures like Liger, Finn Balor, or Prince Devitt as he was then known. They've all held the belt. But the four guys in this match are Marty Scurll, Will Ospreay, KUSHIDA, and Hiromu Takahashi. Okay, so I guess we just need to go through. I mean, most people will have heard of Scurll and Ospreay, two of the hottest stars of the UK indie scene of the past few years. Marty Scurll is in the Bullet Club. He's the villain. He comes out with his umbrella and his coat, and he laughs a lot. Yeah. And he breaks some fingers.
It's for both those guys. If you don't know who they are, you have to have been living under a rock. There's no real point in us, I guess, explaining.
Ospreay's really flippy, disgustingly young, very talented, and I hate him. KUSHIDA is the ace of the junior heavyweight division. Yep. He lost the belt to Ospreay, who then lost it to Scurll, so it's all kind of intertwined there. And Takahashi's kind of the wild card. He's in Naito's LIJ stable, so he's got all that disrespect and kind of anti-authoritarian stance, but in a more crazy way, would you say?
Yeah, he's more unhinged. He's when he came back as Time Bomb.
They're taking Time Bomb.
That whole thing. You can see just from his appearance, he's absolutely wild. He sort of does what he wants for himself. He's very good at toying with his opponents, very good at tiring them out and making things work to his advantage. Of course, you've got Daryl.
His cat.
His stuffed cat, who sort of talks to him and guides him, and he takes care of Daryl.
So over the cat as well. It's so
more
popular.
Over than a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. He's also been harassing Ospreay on Twitter. It's been very funny. He's been tweeting him like late at night saying, "Are you awake? You're a cat." He's been calling him a cat as well.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's an unpredictable match, but who have you got and why?
I'm going to go for Takahashi. I think the fact all these four are intertwined in feuds, it's so hard to predict. But I just think Takahashi's going to beat them all out. I think he's going to somehow overcome all the odds. There's just something about him. I'm really, really into Takahashi. I think he's a great wrestler. And I think a good long stint with the belt would do him very well. Yeah,
I completely agree. I don't have much more to add. I think Takahashi is going to win. Next up, a hair versus hair match for the Never Openweight Championship, kind of the next singles championship down. Still a very respected belt to hold. Between Minoru Suzuki and Hiroki Goto. Suzuki is a terrifying man, Sam.
Yeah, he could kill you with his bare hands. We've met him. He's very imposing.
He is.
Very scary man. Very scary man.
He's like a tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so scary. He's so scary. And when he wrestles as well, he's quite a stiff wrestler. There's a lot of big chops and big kicks.
But you look at his background, he's sort of one of the godfathers of modern MMA.
Yeah, he's an MMA pioneer.
Formed Pancrase. He's legitimately terrifying. Don't ever doubt that Minoru Suzuki is terrifying.
He's a scary man. He leads his own stable, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Suzuki-Gun, they're called. But his opponent, Hiroki Goto, is kind of the Nelly man of New Japan. He's always challenged for the top titles, but every single time he's challenged for the heavyweight championship, he's come up short. It's been a sort of an overarching storyline over a number of years that he can never get the job done when he's on the biggest stage. Now he's a little bit further down the card. It makes this match a little bit less predictable, and he won last year as well. He beat Shibata. So in terms of just Wrestle Kingdom matches, he's got a bit of momentum, and he's got a lovely head of hair as well.
He does. I mean, Suzuki has the very ornate hair.
He's got the shaved
patterns and things. But I think Goto's got more to lose. And for me, going into this match, I believe that Goto, having more hair, you know, the worst tactic in the world for guessing. He has more hair, so I think he's going to lose.
Right. I also think he's going to lose. I'm going to go for Suzuki as well. I think usually in hair versus hair matches, the advantage is with the baby face because everyone wants to see the heel get their head shaved out of Pachiti. But I think that in this case, it works with Goto's storyline. Like he could get his head shaved and lose and be all disgraced and slowly come back and with like a vengeance behind him.
I mean, that's important to note is that Goto isn't a bad wrestler.
No, he's very good, very good.
He's sort of been booked into the storyline where he can't quite get the job done. So I think, that just sounds great. If Goto can come back sort of reborn and lead into this whole big thing for him, I think that would be lovely. Yeah.
And if Suzuki loses and gets his head shaved, I think everyone's going to die. So hopefully Goto will lose. So we've both got Minoru Suzuki. Next up, the IWGP Tag Team Championships, the heavyweight ones. There's also some junior tag team championships and some 6-man tag team belts. We'll get onto those in a sec. But for the heavyweight, for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, we've got the champions Killer Elite Squad versus 2 members of Naito's LIJ stable, Evil and Sonada. Killer Elite Squad are Davey Boy Smith Jr., the son of the British Bulldog, the legendary British Bulldog, and Lance Archer, who you might know as Lance Hoyt from back in ECW, WWE's ECW. And they're both just big boys, big lads.
They're massive.
Big boys.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah.
They're massive.
Big lads. Wow. They're big boys, and they're also members of Suzuki's stable, so they're kind of full-on heels, evil guys, and they're facing a pair of heels who aren't so much full-on heels. They're part of Naito's stable. They've got a lot of support. One of them is called Evil to add to the confusion, but Evil comes out dressed as the Grim Reaper. He's got his purple hair and his eye makeup.
Yeah, he looks sort of like an undead quarterback.
Yeah, he's got that going on. And Sonada is kind of the cool member of the stable. He's got a jacket and sunglasses and like tall hair, towering,
really tall hair,
physics-defying hair. I'd say. It doesn't really move during his matches either.
No, it's super glue, mate.
2 of the kind of the emerging stars of New Japan, because last year everyone was like Sonada's going to be an amazing breakout star, and he did have some good matches, but it was kind of Evil who had the better matches or the bigger singles run. He had some great matches with Okada and Omega as well during the G1 Climax, and I think that they are going to win the titles. I didn't have to think too hard about this one. Could be proven wrong, but I think LIJ are going to win. What about you?
Yeah, I think LIJ. LIJ are going to take it. Killer Elite Squad, while they are the champions, it'd be nice to see them and Suzuki-Gun in general backed into a bit of a corner.
Okay.
They haven't really had that many great things happen since they've come back.
No, they haven't had much to get their teeth into.
Like, because they came back and it was going to be this huge deal, and then it sort of petered out a little bit. It's a shame because they're such a nasty stable. They are like the ultimate heels. Like, no matter where you rank any of the stables, especially the heel stables, they're always on the bottom. They're the absolute worst of the worst.
They're the heels of the heel. Yeah,
they have no respect for anything or anything.
Well, we've both got LIJ, but could be a surprising one. We could be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Next up, a match that's for no title but has an intriguing backstory. It was going to be for the Ring of Honor World Championship, but Cody, the champion, lost the belt to Dalton Castle recently in December. So this is between Cody, or Cody Rhodes, and Kota Ibushi. No title, but a lot of intrigue because they've both got kind of strange storylines behind them. They're both intertwined with Kenny Omega, sort of.
Yep.
Cody is kind of his lieutenant in the Bullet Club, but there's a lot of tension between them.
Yeah, he's like lieutenant would be usurper sometimes.
Yeah, he tried to throw in the towel once during one of the matches against Okada, and like the Young Bucks had to be like, don't throw the towel in, you could still win. And it was very much kind of Cody's being a smarmy heel, he's trying to look really good.
Yeah.
Very effectively, I think. But then Ibushi used to be Omega's tag partner, they broke apart, and now Omega is, whenever there's a press conference or something and Ibushi speaks, if you look at Omega, he's like sells it, he's like, oh no, like you can't stand to be around him. So I think this will build to an eventual Omega Ibushi showdown, but I think maybe not for a little while. I'm gonna go with Ibushi, but you can never tell with Ibushi because, as you were saying earlier today, he's a weird character in wrestling. He's a weird guy.
Yeah, like a lot of people say that Ibushi behaves like an artist. He likes to have full control over his matches, his legacy, and he wants to, you know, really have full control over his career, which is why I think he's doing a lot of stuff with DDT, and, you know, running people over and setting fireworks off in streets.
Yeah.
Enough of that. I mean, you're a two-time DDT champion.
I am a two-time Ironman heavy metalweight champion, which I think tells you everything you need to know about how seriously that promotion takes certain storylines.
Ibushi could be one of the best. Oh, he is one of the best in the world, but he could be one of the major stars of New Japan.
Yeah.
If he was to go back to them full time and completely focus.
Yeah.
On his career, but you know, it's commendable that he's doing what he wants to do. He's not going to let himself be bogged down.
No, it's just a case of whether he wants to.
Yeah.
If he wanted to be a main event player like Okada or Omega, he could be.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
But does he want to be? And I think the result of the match really hinges on that. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say that Ibushi will win. What about you?
Yeah, I reckon Ibushi.
Ibushi as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Sorry, everyone. I've got to read. There's a lot of teams.
It's supposed to be a presenter, mate.
I know, this is for the 6-man tag team championship. It's between the reigning champions, but it's a gauntlet match, so there's various teams that are going to come in and eliminate each other. But we have the reigning champions representing the Bullet Club, the Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale. Just sort of nasty guys, all outsiders, all foreigners to Japan, so, you know, they're kind of obnoxious and arrogant about it, and they just...
Gaijin.
Yeah, Gaijin, and they'll you know, they'll do disrespectful things, they'll jump their opponents before the bell, that sort of thing. Representing Chaos, which is kind of the prestigious, very proud stable of like Okada and Ospreay are in it. They're represented by Ishii, your guy. Beretta, or Trent Beretta as he was known in WWE. Just a popular babyface guy. Used to be tag champions with Rocky Romero, split off, and he's kind of in search of singles destiny, which he's doing by competing for the 6-man belts.
Is he going to take a heinous back bump again?
He did that last year, didn't he?
It's horrible.
At last year's Wrestle Kingdom,
Horrible.
Beretta did a big sort of tope con hilo to the outside, and both the Young Bucks just ran away, and he landed on his back. It was deliberate, but it was
awful.
A brave bump to take. And Yano, their comedy figure, who comes out trying to sell a DVD all the time.
He's lovely.
Lovely man. Lots of low blows, actually. Loves to cheat. Another team, Michael Elgin and War Machine, just some big, powerful lads. Yeah. Going to cause some havoc. Suzuki-Gun are represented by Taichi, who is the master of getting heat. Everyone hates him.
He's so good.
He's got a dyed blonde fringe, and he sings his own entrance theme sometimes.
So annoying. It's great.
Iizuka, who's like the wild man. He kind of has to be led to the ring with a chain around his neck. And Zack Sabre Jr., who you may well have heard of, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, and one of the leading lights of the UK scene, and was in the Cruiserweight Classic. Alongside Ibushi. Harry Potter's not the only wizard from the UK, as he said. And the final team are Taguchi Japan, led by Ryosuke Taguchi, the funky weapon. He's kind of a comedic figure, but also a good wrestler as well. He kind of straddles the line between comedic and you know.
Yeah, he's a very, very, very talented wrestler, but he's also he's a comedy figure in general. He has an album which I haven't listened to it.
Really?
But he has a comedy album. He's just a very well-known joker, I guess.
Okay. He often sort of gathers together his mates and forms Taguchi Japan, who have a rotating cast. So Juice Robinson's in the match as well, a beloved kind of exciting babyface figure on the rise. Everyone thinks he's like, they love him in Japan.
Yeah, he's really over there.
Yeah, fair play to him. I sounded really bitter there. They love him. I wish I was big in Japan. And Togi Makabe, kind of just a big destroyer. Used to be a main event player. I think he was the heavyweight champion at one time in the past sort of 5 years, but he's kind of gotten old and sort of fallen down the card, but still can really kick ass. I was going to say that with a straight face, and then I got there and I couldn't do it. I was like, going to kick ass.
Fun fact, Makabe's face is also on crisps in Japan.
Right.
Crisps. It's a man you don't want to mess with.
No, not at all. So yeah, that's the teams in that. Who do you have and why?
See, I was originally going to go for War Machine
and Elgin.
Yeah. But given the rumours that War Machine are going to be going to WWE and the rumours about Michael Elgin basically causing backstage heat with Jeff Cobb, I can't see them winning it. It would have been a great thing I think, for those guys to hold those belts. But for me, I'm going to go with Funky Weapon, mate.
Taguchi Japan,
Taguchi
right?
Japan.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I really can't predict this one, and I think just maybe to sort of give them a bit of momentum back, because Bullet Club, although the most popular stable on a global scale, in Japan have been kind of overtaken by LIJ.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they'll keep the titles just to kind of give them something to hold on to as we move forward. So I'm going to go for Bullet Club. And finally, the junior tag team title match between the champions Roppongi 3K and the Young Bucks. Roppongi 3K are Sho and Yo, who used to be known as the Tempura Boys. They went over to Ring of Honor to build up their experience and become better wrestlers. They came back and now they're all flamboyant and got boy band hair. They look like they're in a J-pop band, kind of. Is that deliberate?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe ask them.
Yeah. And they're managed by Rocky Romero, who was in the original Roppongi Vice tag team alongside Beretta before Beretta split off. So Romero's going to be managing those guys. They've won the belts. They won them at the tail end of last year, and they'll be defending them against the Young Bucks, who I'm sure you've heard of. Kenny Omega's Bezzy mates, and like one of the most popular indie tag teams, the indie wrestling tag team, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Like they are. I think they represent the independent scene more than any other like wrestling team or wrestlers in general. I think they're just so synonymous with it, and they're so proud to be independent wrestlers.
Yeah,
it's great.
They're very open about the fact that if they were to go to WWE, they'd be creatively stifled and would probably make less merch money. They make a killing on merch.
Yeah,
it's awful, but in a good way. Good for them.
Yeah.
But it's just heinous. But good for them. I'm going for Roppongi 3K. I don't have a vendetta against the Bucks or anything. It just sounds like I'm a bit like, I hate those guys. I just think, that Roppongi 3K will win because they are young up-and-comers, and it looks as though New Japan believe in them quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they've held the belts since October at King of Pro Wrestling, right?
I think so.
So, for me, I'd like to see them continue to hold the belts, but at the same time, I love the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go for the Young Bucks.
Cool.
I think that New Japan don't tend to hot potato the belts a lot, but it would give the Bucks a new feud. It would give Roppongi 3K certainly something to go after if the belts are taken from them. Obviously, Rocky Romero is tied to Chaos.
Yes.
So there's a nice little play off of the factions again right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Young Bucks.
I think you might be right, but I'm gonna stick with it. I really think I'm going to be wrong on that one. Okay. So that's it for our predictions for Wrestle Kingdom 12, which will take place on January the 4th. If you're interested in watching that, it is available on New Japan World, their subscription service, at 8 a.m. UK time.
Yeah, the subscription service is 999 yen a month, which works out at around £7, £7.50.
Okay.
It's really worth it. There's lots of the older stuff on there. There's pretty much an entire back catalogue. Yeah, it's great. And 8 a.m. start though, mate. 8 a.m.
Gonna be drinking. Look out for drinking rules, which we'll obviously post on Twitter. Follow us at Cultaholic and all the rest of it. Please check out our Patreon if you want, and look out for our reactions in the days following the event and our punishment. Oh no! Can I give it a go? Okay, right. Join us.
Yeah.
The hell?